Hi everyone, and welcome back to Fully Playable Games. So on today's video we have got some random pickups that I've been picking up, but we have got some absolutely amazing bits today. We have got, as the title says, an absolute steal for the NES. We've also got, in my eyes, quite a crucial bit of history as well, and I'm just checking actually, I'm making sure I plug my mic in. So yeah, we've got some really good bits to go through today, so I'm going to dive straight in. And actually the first couple of bits we've got have come from friend of the channel, Nicky. So a couple of bits that he's picked up from his local charity shop. First one is an Xbox 360 game, and it's Bakugan Defenders of the Core. And I have to say, I really enjoyed playing this. I've never played any of these games, and yeah, it is definitely one that I'm going to pick up and play. So it's a bit of a mixture between a sort of 3D, I wouldn't say 3D platformer, but that sort of thing, and then a one-on-one fighter. So yeah, definitely one that I'm going to be going back to and spending a bit more time on. So that one, bought that off him for £10, goes for £18 at CEX and £15 on eBay. And I'm just trying to think the best place to put all these. I'll just do them down there for now. Then I've got a couple of DS games. So we've got Sonic Rush Adventure. Yeah, this was okay. It's Sonic on the DS. Once again, this was a mixture of sort of 2D platformer and then sort of 3D levels as well. Yeah, it was okay. I will admit, I'm not a massive fan of any Sonic game that's got the 3D in it, or like 3D levels. I am definitely a 2D Sonic through and through. So that one we paid £2 for that. Goes for £12 at CEX, £10 on eBay. Then we've got Madagascar Carts. I will admit this wasn't one of the worst karting games I've ever played. Wasn't one of the best, but still, definitely there wasn't a bad one to play. And yeah, the fact that it was on the DS as well made it give it a couple more points in my eyes. So for that one, we paid £1 for that one. Goes for £5 at CEX, £6 on eBay. And then another driving game that I really can't heap as much praise on as we did for Madagascar, and that was Kart Mater Nation Championship. Yeah, this is probably the slowest racing game I've ever played. Yeah, I don't know whether I was playing it wrong or whatever, but yeah, it was just so slow. And when I'm saying slow, you just couldn't get any acceleration, and I was out in front. I was first, but yeah, it just sort of so slow. Definitely a one for the collection, not that I won't be playing. That one, paid £1 for it, goes for £4 at CEX, £5 on eBay. And then the last DS game that I got off him was Zoo Tycoon DS. I'll be honest, I've not played too many of the Zoo Tycoon games. I think actually this is probably going to be the first one. But obviously when I'm playing it, the first thing that immediately comes to mind, and especially playing this version, it was old school theme park. So yeah, it was an alright game. You pretty much get exactly what you expect with this, and obviously having the stylus makes it a bit better to play as well. So for that one, we paid £1 for that. Goes for £4 at CEX and £5 on eBay. Then Nicky did also give me a couple of Pokemon bits as well. So the first one that we've got is a graded card. So this is a Pokemon V-Star Universe Mew VMAX. This is one of the Japanese sets. It's 9.5, so this is actually the highest rated graded card that I've got in my collection now. I think the best before this was a 7 or an 8, but I will say I'm not a graded card collector. I much prefer having my cards in albums and things like that. But as I say, if I can get a nice graded card, I will definitely grab them whenever I can. And I have to say, this card is actually really nice looking. So yeah, didn't pay anything for that. Looking it up online, they go for about £20 on eBay in this grade. Then he also chucked me in a couple of the Trick and Trade packs. So these are all the same year. I can't remember what year they were though. No, not too sure, and I'm not. 2023, so these are last year's ones. So I've got a whole stack of these actually to open, but I'm holding off opening them until I can get a the complete sort of packet that they come in. So yeah, I've got a couple of them I'm looking at. They're not too bad. They're about £20 for the whole pack on eBay at the moment. I think once they come through, then I probably will open all of the loose Trick and Trade packs that I've got. But for them, he didn't, as I say, didn't charge me anything for them. And for the 3 packs, you'd normally pay about £3 on eBay for them. And then to finish off, he also chucked in a couple of Elite Trainer boxes. That's a thing then. So what he's done is he's gone through and pulled out any of the high-end cards so that he can flip and sell them. So it is pretty much just all bunk, or bulk, sorry. So it'll just be a case of me going through and adding them into my albums. But the one that obviously I'm really happy to have is the 151. So I actually missed these when they come out. I just didn't have the money to pick them up. So to have some of these cards in the collection, I'm really, really chuffed. Because yeah, it's a set that I was a bit gutted that I missed it. So yeah, definitely looking forward to going through the cards that are in there. And that is it. That's so the ETBs, they normally, in that sort of condition, they'll go for about £10 online. But as I say, they are going to be squarely for the collection. And then we're going to go on, we're now going to move on to, shall we say, the new games that we've picked up. So the first couple are some brand new games that I've picked up on sort of day of release. And they've been ones that have been released over like the last month or so. So the first one that we've got is Pacific Drive Deluxe Edition. I thoroughly enjoyed this. So I can't remember whose channel it was on, but I saw someone do some gameplay on this. They had a pre-release copy. And yeah, it was about 4 or 5 weeks before the game actually released that I saw the video, and as soon as I saw it, I went on and pre-ordered it from Amazon. I'll go into that in a minute, that's a whole nother story, but the game itself is absolutely brilliant. So you play, at the very beginning of the game, you're a courier and you're driving past this sealed off town. And this was a town that was built, I believe it was in the 60s. And the whole idea was it was a town that scientists could go and work on new scientific discoveries. And something goes wrong, and basically the town then gets sealed off with like 300-foot walls or something like that, 30-foot walls. So I can't remember how high the walls are meant to be. And as you're driving past these walls, all of a sudden a portal opens and sucks you into the zone. And basically the premise of it is you are you're in this car. It's basically like a station wagon, and the whole idea is you're upgrading the station wagon to take on different missions to then allow yourself to get to the point where you can actually escape the zone. I've probably put about 4 or 5 hours into it at the moment, and I've still got quite a way to go. But yeah, it is an absolutely brilliant game. It is one that I'd highly recommend playing. And yeah, it was one, as I say, I saw the gameplay for it, and as soon as I sort of watched it, I went on, pre-ordered it from Amazon, and yeah, was really happy to pick it up. But obviously I didn't get it from Amazon because literally the morning, I think it was the day before, it was due to arrive. So it was meant to come on the Friday. On the Thursday, I got an email to say that it had been delayed until about 3-4 weeks later. So it should have been actually arriving about now. I think it was today. Well, the day you're seeing this video is actually the day that it was meant to arrive. And I'm a bit like, well, no, I pre-ordered it for day of release, which, if I remember right, it was like the 12th of April, I think it was. So what I ended up doing is I jumped on. I actually saw that Argos had it in, so I was able to order it from Argos and then do click and collect. So yeah, it actually ended up coming from Argos, and it was actually a bit cheaper to get it from Argos. I have noticed that a bit more recently. There's been a couple of times where I've had to pick up a game from Argos, and they do tend to be cheaper than Amazon. So if you're looking for new games out there, it might be worth checking out Argos before you go to one of the big places like Amazon, eBay, or anything like that. So we paid $27.99 for it. It was immediately listed at CEX for £25. And then on eBay, brand new, it was selling for £45. So yeah, really, really good deal picking it from Argos. I think it was about 31, 32 from Amazon at the time. So yeah, not a massive saving, but still, it's a saving. Then next up, we've got my most recent new addition to the collection, as in new games. It's another PS5 game, and it's a game that probably everyone knows by now, and that is Stellar Blade. Absolutely brilliant. I've been following Stellar Blade for absolutely ages now. Literally pre-ordered it the second I could pre-order it. The only thing that got me with it was obviously it was probably the most expensive PS5 game I picked up so far. I think this one, yeah, £69 this one cost me. But it was one that I was getting regardless. It just looked absolutely stunning. And yeah, I've been watching everything unfold with mild hilarity, should we say. Obviously, it has been a bit annoying because I have been playing on the version 1 version of the game, so I haven't patched it at all. I am playing the original unmodified game, and that is the big benefit to having this as a physical copy. So all I've done is when I've installed it on the PS5, I've just had my PS5 completely disconnected from the internet, and that, yeah, basically allows me to play the uncensored version of the game, shall we say. But yeah, I think graphically this is a brilliant game. The gameplay is absolutely brilliant, and yeah, one that once again I'm probably only about 4 hours into it, so I've still got, I think if I remember rightly, it's something like a 12-hour campaign. So yeah, definitely looking forward to picking this back up, getting back into it, and actually getting it completed. I did play the where have I put? Oh, I'll put it up there. I did play the demo when it came out as well. I probably only spent about an hour on the demo. I think I got to the first boss, died a couple of times, and then I was like, no, I'll just do it when the game comes out. So yeah, as I say, paid £69 for that. Once again, it was immediately listed at CEX, and they were selling it for 65. And then it was actually selling on eBay for 67. That was in brand new condition. But actually, I will say, with regards to Stellar Blade, it is already in CEX stores, because the day I'm actually filming this, the day before the video releases, and I was actually out in CEX today, filming a video for a couple of weeks' time. And I saw a couple of copies of Stellar Blade behind the counter. Now, I don't know whether they were new ones that they'd ordered in to sell in the store, or if those are ones that have been traded in. I'd have been really surprised if it had been traded in that quickly. But yeah, as I say, there was a couple of copies in CEX. One of the CEXs that I went in today. Right, so moving on. We're now moving on to a Super Nintendo game. And this was one I was just sort of clicking through. Oh, no, I think this actually come through on one of my email alerts. So I've got Super Nintendo box only. That's a sort of saved search. So I get daily emails if there's anything new that's come through. And this happened to come through on that email. And it's actually a complete in-box game. It's not a box only. So that is NHLPA Hockey. Now, it was a relatively cheap game. Yeah, £9.95 we paid for it. But yeah, it was actually this was an auction. So yeah, I saw it. It was, if I remember rightly, when I saw it, it was at like £4 or £5. And then I just kept my eye on it, saw that it hadn't really shifted, and then sort of chucked an offer in of about a tenner, and yeah, ended up winning it. So I was really happy with that. I will say I quite enjoy hockey games. A lot of the ones that I've played, I've really enjoyed them. I don't know anything about ice hockey. I've never played it in real life, never watched it on TV or anything like that. But yeah, it was another boxed complete SNES game, and it's going to completely destroy the new shelf that we've just set up, because yeah, that shelf was had just enough room for everything that we put in, and now I'm adding in another SNES game. But yes, happy to have it regardless. I think when I bought it, we hadn't done the shelf move, so I've had this for a couple of weeks now. So yeah, we hadn't actually done, I hadn't even planned the shelf move at this point. So yeah, always good to be forward planning. So as I said, paid £9.95 for that. Couldn't find it listed on CEX, but it goes for about £20 in complete condition on eBay. Then next up, we've got a PS2 game, and this is one that I've actually had on my radar for quite a while. I've seen quite a few of the American YouTubers looking at this game. One YouTuber in particular, but that is Splashdown 2 Riders Gone Wild. Now, with this one, I think that this is different in the PAL territories than it is over in the US. Because if I remember rightly, it is actually just called Splashdown Riders Gone Wild in the US. Whereas over here, we did actually have and I think I've got it in the collection. We had another game called Splashdown, and that was more of a serious sort of jet ski game. Yes, I'm pretty sure I have got it. If I have and I can find it, I will put a picture of it up on the screen. But yeah, it's I think I don't think that original one was actually released in the States, hence why this is called Splashdown 2. But I think over in the US it was just called Splashdown. This one is very much it's a very sort of, I don't want to say slapstick, but it's more sort of light-hearted. And what I like about this is as you're doing your 3 laps, the track is constantly changing. So every lap that you do is completely different from the last. And yeah, I just think that's a very unique mechanic on this game. But yeah, it was one that I'd had on my radar for a while, and I can't remember where I come across it. I don't know whether I might have looked at someone, I saw someone else talking about it, and then had another look, and then just decided to pull the trigger on it. I think was what happened with that. So paid £10.80 for it. It goes for £3 at CEX and £16 on eBay. So one that's got a very wide spectrum on that one. So the next game that we've got is going to be another SNES game. And yes, I am glutton for punishment, because as I said, I don't think we've got the room for the one that we've picked up already. But this was another wishlist game I'd had on my radar for so long. I didn't want to pick it up cart only. I wanted it complete in box. But it is a relatively expensive game. So I was, once again, just looking for a sort of cheap auction or something like that to come along. And yeah, actually after this there's another game as well that sort of ticks that box off. So the game that we picked up was Unirally. Now yeah, I remember seeing this game. I think I actually played it on a friend's SNES when we were younger, and yeah, really enjoyed it then. And it's one that I've been wanting to add to the collection for absolutely ages now. And yeah, really chuffed to finally get it in. It's a very unique game, and it's one of those ones where it really takes a bit of time getting used to it. But once you master it, it then becomes so much fun. So for Unirally, as I say, it is complete as well. So I did finally manage to get one in the complete condition that I wanted. That one, we paid £27.50 for it. It normally goes for £40 on eBay in complete condition. Sorry, normally goes for £40 on CEX in complete edition. And then on eBay it goes for about £60 in complete condition. So yeah, a really good find there. Once again, it always pays. If there's a particular game you're looking for, look out for the auctions, because you might find that you'll go through 10 auctions and the game goes for too much. But you just needs that one auction where people don't notice it or whatever it is, and then you just swoop in and get an absolute diamond game for a really good price. The next pickup that we've got is actually a bundle of games. Well, it's a bundle that I found on eBay once again, and this is actually a Game Boy Color bundle. So yeah, once again, I think this come through on one of my email alerts, and once again I've got email alerts set up for Game Boy box only, more so to try and find boxes for the cart onlys that I've got, and yeah, just try and sort of get some more games. Not that I need any more games for the new Game Boy section, but yeah, if I can get Game Boy games and put them into boxes, I'll do it all day long. So yeah, these come along. So there are 5 games in total. One of them is just box and manual, but the other 4 are, I think, mostly complete. I think one's missing the manual. So yeah, the first one that we've got is the box only, and that is Super Mario Bros. Deluxe. Sorry, not box only, box and manual. So yeah, all I need to do for this is to track down the cartridge. What have we got? So box only normally goes for about £15 on... What am I doing? No, where am I looking at? No, box only normally goes for about... what have I done here? Give me a minute.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Okay, right. No, I've worked it out now. So, yeah, it was... I did manage to find one listing that was selling just box and manual, and that was listed at £45. Now, I think the only reason I could find that one listing was because that £45 is massively expensive, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So, yeah, as I say, with this, I just needed to get the cartridge. So, obviously, I had to go out and get the cartridge. This was a auction that I was watching, and yeah, I managed to get this for £12 and 20p. Normally cart only goes for £15 at CEX and £16 on eBay, so not a massive reduction, but as I always say, any reduction is better than no reduction. So yeah, and the reason why I said that £45 for box and manual was extortionately expensive is because complete in box from CEX goes for £50, and complete in box on eBay it goes for £55. So to actually get so if you're, say for example, you were buying this, you ended up buying the cart off CEX for £15, and then you bought the cart for, you bought the box only at £45, you're actually spending £60 on a game that's worth no more than £55. So this is where, when it comes to sort of buying boxes and like parting stuff together, you do need to be careful, because sometimes it can end up costing you more to piece a game together than it does to actually just buy it outright. So yeah, I saw the box in there, and then I was like, yeah, I'll look for the cart at some point. And then, yeah, I just once again happened to come across an auction that was going on, watched it, and then it just didn't go up. It stayed stationary. And then there was a bit of movement right towards the end, but I was able to get in. I think no, actually, it didn't move at all until right at the end. And then I done my bid right at the end, and yeah, ended up winning it. I think it was about £7 something or other, £7-8, and then the rest was postage. So yeah, really happy to have that complete. I have actually got to go and pick out some more box protectors as well for the Game Boy. I've run out of them. So yeah, definitely going to be picking those up as soon as I can. Okay, the next game that we had in this set was one that I've never actually heard of. And this is Austin Powers, Welcome to My Underground Lair. And yeah, this is as random as it gets. So this is there's, from what I could tell, I just couldn't really work it out, but there's no real game to it. It is literally just different screens relating to sort of Dr. Evil and things like that. And so yeah, if there is a game to it, I couldn't find it. So yeah, this one doesn't have the manual. But what I will say, this is a bit of an example of a bit of an issue that I didn't notice when I was sort of, I can't remember if it was, yeah, this was an auction. So when I was bidding on it, this was one thing that I didn't notice, and there's one thing I will advise people to keep your eye out for, especially if you're buying boxes. All of the boxes have got these security labels on them, and yeah, they're not very nice to get off. So I'm going to have to spend some time with the heat gun and get them removed, because yeah, I just don't like them being on there. And yeah, all of the games have got them. The next game after this, someone has attempted to remove the label, not successfully, I will add. So yeah, as I say, this one hasn't got the manual, and the only manual that I can find for it listed on eBay is in the US. And then so for the cost of the manual and the shipping, you're looking at, I think it was about £30 for it. And I'm like, it's not worth that, because yeah, so complete in box, it goes for £60. So yeah, I'm paying £30 for a manual. If it was £15 for a manual, like including shipping, I probably would have pulled the trigger on it just to get it complete. But yeah, £30 for a manual from the US, so it's not even going to be a PAL manual, but I don't think that makes a difference on this one. So yeah, I've decided to sort of just keep this as carton box for now. But yeah, on CEX it is listed for £12 without manual. Then the next one we've got is Tweety's High Flying Adventure. So this one is complete. It's got game manual and box. And yeah, as you can see, someone has attempted to remove the security stickers. So yeah, I'm just hoping with a bit of heat, I'm going to be able to just lift those off. And then yeah, we'll get it into a box protector. And yeah, keep it looking as good as we can. So this one is a side-scrolling platformer. You play as Tweety, and the idea is you've got to go to different cities around the world. And I'll be honest, I can't remember why you've got to go to different cities around the world. But yeah, it wasn't bad. It was a sort of 2D platformer on the Game Boy Color. So yeah, it was quite impressive. Then next up we've got Roadsters. So this was actually a game that we picked up in the massive pickup that we've done from Dan about 4 or 5 weeks ago. But that was cart only. And then yeah, this was probably one of the ones that drew me to actually buying this lot, because this one is complete. So I think I've listed the cart for sale on eBay. Just try and sort of claw some money back to put back into the game fund. So yeah, there was that one. And then the last game that we got in this set was the Jungle Book, Mowgli's Wild Adventure. Once again, this is a 2D sort of side-scrolling platformer. And yeah, once again, it is very indicative of the sort of Disney platformers that were released around this sort of time. You've got a lot of the sort of Mickey Mouse ones that are styled very much like this, sort of similar sort of look and feel. So yeah, it's not too bad. It is, you know what to expect with these. So that one goes for £8 on eBay and £20 on, sorry, £8 at CEX, £20 on eBay. I don't think I said it actually, but Roadsters wasn't listed at CEX, but goes for £20 complete on eBay. Then, next up, we have got another box. This time it's for a Game Boy Advance game. But, I'll be honest, it's not a box I'm going to use. I think the condition of it... The condition of it was apparent on the pictures. I think I just assumed that it was bad pictures. It wasn't. This is probably one of the worst intact boxes I've ever seen. Alright, and this is for Scooby-Doo on the Game Boy Advance. Now, yeah, I'm hoping that it comes out on the photos that I take, but it has got like a sort of dull sort of tint to it. And what it looks like is it's been dumped in a sort of bowl of olive oil. That's literally all I can sort of think of to describe it. And then when you're sort of looking through, all of the pages are very sort of transparent. Once again, I don't know if this is how it's meant to be. I don't think it is, because yeah, it just doesn't feel right. So I'm going to do a bit more research into it first to find out if it's even looking at it now. So even if you, so just looking at the brown bit of the box, it just doesn't look the right colour. I definitely think something has happened to this box that shouldn't have done. And yeah, at the moment I'm just not happy to put the game in it, put it into a case and then put it on display. I'd much rather just hold out and get a better condition box. So I will admit, didn't pay too much for it. I paid £5.60 for it, and more than likely the seller had it discounted because of the condition. But yeah, I've just not clocked it, which is my own fault really. Looking it up online, complete condition for this game, it goes for £12 on eBay. Right, now we are going to get into the heavy hitters. So we've got 2 Nintendo games and then a brand new console for the collection. And yeah, really excited to get to these. So the first one that we've got is a GameCube game, and yeah, we've not done, I don't think we've picked up a GameCube game from eBay in quite a while now, so this is going to be something a bit different, and that is the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition. So this was a rare promotional disc that was released. I can't remember, it was certain stores that were giving it away. I can't remember if it was Toys R Us or something like that. I'll put a little message down the bottom as to sort of how you got hold of this disc. But yeah, it is one, especially amongst GameCube collectors, it's normally quite high up their list to get hold of. And basically what this is it's a GameCube version, or GameCube disc, it's got 4 of the Zelda games. So it's got the original Legend of Zelda from the NES. It's got Legend of Zelda, it's got Zelda 2, Adventures of Link, which I think as well was an NES game. You've then got Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. The only thing that I will say with this, and it was initially a bit of a problem to capture it, to capture the footage for it, it only plays in 60 Hertz. So if you're outputting it to an old TV that can't take 60 Hertz, you won't be able to play it. So I think what I ended up doing, instead of using the normal component adapter that I normally use, I've actually got a GameCube to HDMI converter. I ended up using that to capture the footage for this, and it worked straight away. So yeah, it's good to know that my adapter can't take 60 Hertz. But yeah, it was one that I've been wanting to pick up for a while. So I finally decided to just basically take the plunge. And actually I think I picked it up a couple of days after I'd done the first CEX video where I went out with YouTube money. But what we also get on this is you actually get a playable demo of Wind Waker. So yeah, I'm really chuffed to have this in the collection, and yeah, definitely one that I'm looking forward to getting added to the shelf. Right, so next up we are going to get to the game that titled this video, shall we say. So I've got an NES game, and it's a complete in-box game, and it's one that I've been wanting for the collection for ages. It's part of a series, and the aim is going to be to actually get all 3 games in this series. And that is a complete in-box version of Super Mario Bros. 3 on the NES. Now, there is a bit of a story to this one, because initially, once again, it come through on one of my email alerts that like this was coming up. It was an auction, and I think the auction was at like £5 or something, £5.50 or something like that, with 6 days to run. So I'm like, well, I'll watch it. Probably not gonna. It's not going to go anywhere. And it's not going to go anywhere, and sort of it'll price itself out before it'll go to a price more than what I want to pay at this moment. So I added it to my wish list, and then went on with my life. And then I was actually out with the family. I was actually out at Chesington for the day, and we just sat down to have some lunch. And my phone pinged to say that there was 15 minutes left on the auction. I was like, oh, let's have a look, see what it got up to. And it was still at £5.50. I was like, I can't not bid on this. So yeah, I quickly looked up what complete in box versions were going, and then had a bit more of a read of the listing. I found out it didn't have the manual. So we'll solve that problem in a minute, because as I say, it is complete, but the original listing didn't come with the manual. So yeah, while I was having lunch, I was then also watching the auction, and then ended up putting a bid in. I think I put a bid in for about £30, 25 or £30, I can't remember. I think at the time it was at about £10, I think it was at that point. So I was like really going above what the current bids was. And then yeah, I ended up winning it. So I think no, I didn't. Yeah, 25 or £30. I can't remember how much I bid, but ended up winning it for about £17. And then with shipping on top, total amount I paid was £21.94. And yeah, I was absolutely over the moon. I was absolutely buzzing. So as I say, when it arrived, or when I once I won it, I then was like, right, I need to track down the manual for this. So I was looking online. There was a couple of listings of sort of manual only, but they were all listed at £16. And yeah, if I'd done that, it would have gone above the CEX price. Not above the eBay price, because that is massively higher, but it would have definitely gone above the CEX price. So I was sort of scrolling through, and then all of a sudden I come across a listing that was cart and manual. And it was a lot cheaper than everyone else had it listed for. It was listed for £18.99. So I was like, well, what does the cart only sell for? So I looked up the cart only, and yeah, it was the cart onlys were selling for about £20. So obviously someone had just seen the cart only price and created this listing. It was a buy it now listing of with cart and manual. So I just immediately bought it. When it arrived, I literally, as soon as it arrived, photographed the cart, stuck it up on eBay, and I think within about 24 hours, the cart had sold. I think the cart sold for about £18. So once all my fees and shipping and all of that were dealt with, it ended up that the manual cost me about £7. So yeah, all in, I ended up getting a complete version of the game for about £28, just a bit over £28. So more than happy with that, because as I say, the box is in really good condition. I'm really pleased with how the box is. Looking it up online, it goes for £35 at CEX, but an absolutely monumental £70 on eBay. So yeah, really chuffed to have that. And as I say, I really want to get, it's one of the things, especially for the NES, that I've really wanted, is I've wanted all 3 Mario games complete in box for the shelf. I've currently got them all cart only. So I think for the original Mario Bros, I've got Duck Hunt and Mario. I haven't got the sort of standalone cart. We've got Mario 2 and Mario 3 cart only. So I'm probably going to end up keeping hold of them. So then I don't even have to open this or the others when I get them. So yeah, just really happy to finally have this in the collection, and to get it for such a good price. I was absolutely blown away. £26 for a complete in-box Mario. And yeah, what really spurred me on was when we went to the Chelmsford Boot Fair towards the beginning of the year. For those of you that haven't seen that video, there was actually a woman there that got a whole stack of N64 games, and she paid about a tenner each. It's just like Mario 64 complete in box, Mario Kart 64 complete in box, and a couple of others. But what she also got was the original Mario complete in box on the NES. I was devastated that I missed out on it, so I was like, no, I'm going to track these down. So yeah, the first one I come across was Mario 3. And as I say, I'm not looking to go out and buy it nows or anything like that. I am just going to keep my eye out for cheap auctions, and as and when they come through, they come through. And then yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get sort of all three of them within a good amount of time. So yeah, that is that. Then we've got one more pickup, and this one is actually, once again, this is another thing that I was editing the Chelmsford video, and there was a particular stall that I went to and he had a whole load of games for this console, and while I was editing it, I was like, do you know what, let's go and have a look at how much the console actually is. So I was seeing a couple of buy it now prices, and nearly falling off my chair, and then this one come up, and I think it was a buy it now price with offers, like allowed offers, and I think I chucked him an offer of what was it? I chucked him a sort of cheeky low offer of about 50 quid. I think he had it listed for about 80 with £15 shipping. No, sorry, 80 with £10 shipping. I chucked him an offer at 50, and he then countered at 65, and I was like, do you know what, I'm gonna just take it. And that is, and as I said earlier on, it is a bit of gaming history. So this is the is it Ardaman Grandstand. Now that probably means nothing to anyone, but for the proper retro collectors, or not the proper retro, but for people that really know their retro consoles, this is actually the English version of the Fairchild Channel F. And you're probably like, still never heard of it, what is it? The reason that this is a significant console is this is the first ever console to use cartridges. Before this console released, it was all plug and plays. You had one game built into the console and that was it. This was the first console to ever release with interchangeable cartridges. So a lot of people, I've spoke to quite a few people about this since picking it up. And you speak to people and you're like, well, do you remember what the first console to have cartridges is? And the first one that everyone says is the 2600. And yeah, I probably would have agreed at one point. But yeah, I saw this come up. It was complete in box, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna grab. Sorry about that. I thought I had enough left in my battery to finish filming this, but yeah, I just saw it flashing up, and yeah, don't know where I got cut or how far I got cut off, but yeah, new battery in, so we're all good now. So yeah, I saw that this was complete in box, and just thought, you know what, it's such a great price, I'm gonna grab it. But I did not realise how much of a great price it was, because when it arrived, first thing I done was to open it up and have a look at the console, and I could not get over the condition of the console. This console was pristine. I was absolutely floored. It's a console, I think the console was released in 1978, and I'm going to put it down because it's getting a bit heavy. I just could not get over how good a condition the console was in. And yeah, it is definitely one that I am over the moon to have in the collection. So yeah, looking at the console, so we paid £75 and 19p. As I say, that was a £65 offer with, I think it was £10.19 shipping. I don't know where the 19 comes in, but and then the console itself, normally in complete condition, boxed, will sell for about £2.50. So yeah, it was an absolute, as I say, chucking in that 50 quid offer was such a low ball. Even at £80 that he was originally asking, so it'd have been £90 in total, it was still a bargain. But yeah, to get it for that, I was over the moon. And what made it even better is it did actually come with one of the cartridges. So this is Pinball Challenge. I think I have gone through and I've tested the games. I've definitely tested the console because I have actually got 2 more games that we'll get to in a sec. So yeah, tested the games. They all work. I'm not too sure whether, I think I've got footage for them. But yeah, you'll see if not. So yeah, this game was released in 1978. And yeah, I just think they're absolutely, the cartridges are brilliant. And the system itself's got a big old eject button and everything. What I really like in the design of the cartridges is actually on the back there's a little cover that comes down and actually protects the printed circuit board. So yeah, absolutely brilliant design. It's really surprising that no one has taken that on since. So for video cart number 17, it's not Pinball Challenge. I don't know why it's got Pinball Challenge written on it, because that's actually Breakout. That one goes for about £20 as cart only. So in total, we paid £75 for £270 worth of gaming history. But as I say, I did pick up a couple of other carts as well. And this was a buy it now listing on eBay. So the first one that we've got is video cart number 8. The label isn't in the best condition, so I'm going to try and clean it up a bit. But that one is Guess the Number. Once again, cart only goes for about £20. And then we've also got video cart number 10. I don't know if I can class this as complete inbox. It's complete with the box, but yeah, as you can see, the box is literally coated head to tail in sellotape. I will say the sellotape is probably from the 1970s. But yeah, this is the maze game. And yeah, once again, you'll see that the games on this console are very rudimentary, but you've just got to remind yourself they're from the late 1970s. It's just amazing, it really is, and that is one of the things that I absolutely love about these really old video game systems. Just the sort of things that they were doing, and they were the first to be doing these. It's not like now where you've got Sony copies Microsoft, who copies Nintendo, who copies, and it's just all very ancestral. Whereas then, you know, these were people that were coding in their bedrooms. It was, yeah, it was such a great time. All right, yes, you had things like the oversaturation and the sort of low quality games that were prevalent on things like the Atari. But with this, I believe there was 24 carts, and I think I will, over time, I am going to look to try and get all of the carts for this, because I just think it is a fascinating bit of history. And it's not one that I've seen too many collectors pick up. So yeah, I'm really glad to have such a great condition one in the collection. As I say, the box isn't pristine, but can you really expect a box that is, so what, 78, you're coming up to 70, 80, 90, 2000s, 10, coming up to 50 years old. I should have worked that out a bit better than that. But yeah, so you're thinking a video game console for nearly 50 years old. We're 4 years off being 50 years old. Absolutely amazing. And the fact that it still works, literally I plugged it in, it didn't skip a beat, it worked straight away, didn't need cleaning, didn't need anything, it just worked.
All of this just works.
And that's the big difference. How many of you can actually sit there and tell me you're going to be playing your current PS5 in 50 years time? I'll be surprised if some of you are even going to be playing your PS5 in 5 years time. So yeah, it's just a completely different kettle of fish, and this is what I like so much about old tech. A lot of it is bulletproof. It just keeps on working, and if it does break down, normally it's a simple fix. There's none of this micro soldering or needing chip replacements or anything like that. It was capacitors and everything like that. It was just, they were just simple. And yeah, that's my old man rant over for today. But yeah, so with video cart number 10, I don't think I said, but that goes for about £40, complete in box. As I say, I completely understand. Yes, I am being very fast and loose with the term complete in box. But all in, I paid £18.50 for both of those two carts. So yeah, really, really happy. So a couple of extra carts for the console. So there's a bit of variety there. And that is going to wrap up this video. It's definitely gone on a lot longer than I was expecting it to today. But yeah, let's quickly run through the totals before we wrap the video up. So total spend today was £354.55. If we picked everything up that we could from CEX, I will admit I don't think that's quite an extensive list today, we would have paid £334 exactly. And if we got everything we could from eBay, it would have been a massive £926. So we paid a third of the price for some just absolute amazing additions to the collection. I am so happy with pretty much everything that we've got, both new to the really old to the really new. Yeah, just really happy. Some really good additions to the collection. And yeah, as I say, that Fairchild Channel F, I think that is going to be one I would love to find the space to put it up in here at the moment, but I just don't have the room. Obviously we've just expanded out the Nintendo shelf, and I will be honest, you can't see what's below this level. I've literally got a tiny little square that I'm able to stand in, because I've actually done another 2 massive pickups. I've actually been off work this week, and yeah, I've been to Dan's, done a massive pickup from Dan, and then yesterday I was out at Glenn's, done a massive pickup from Glenn. So those 2 videos are going to be coming in the next sort of 5 to 6 weeks, I think it is. I've then got another big pickup that I've done from Dan. Well, not a big pickup, but another sort of relatively small pickup. But that's going to couple in with another big pickup that I've done from Nicky. So yeah, the contacts are really paying dividends at the moment for me. And then obviously, as I say, today I've been out filming my next YouTube payout video. And I will say in that, I have actually ordered something from CEX that is a massive hitter, and it's one that I've been wanting for the GameCube collection for a while. So yeah, that video I think is coming up in about 2 weeks time. So if you want to see any of those videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to be kept up to date when they go live. Also, if you did enjoy today's video, do give it a thumbs up. It really helps promote the video. Makes YouTube see that the video isn't a complete load of rubbish, only a small bit of rubbish. But yeah, with that said, that is going to wrap up today's video. So I just want to say a massive thank you for joining me today. Really hope you enjoyed it, and really hope you enjoy seeing some of these different type of bits for the collection. So yeah, with that said, thank you so much again. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Alright, bye!